Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in from wherever you happen to be today. And it's another Saturday, and we're here once again. Stand up comedy has probably been around in one way or another since people started talking. Humor has always been a part of what sets us apart from the animals. Well, I know some animals that are kind of funny too, but that's a topic for another day. We're going to be talking about that with a special guest today. So put on the brakes, grab a cup of coffee, and join the conversation because it's time for Coffee Breaks with Steve. Oh, that tastes good today. Hey, again, thank you for joining. Welcome back. If you're a regular to Coffee Breaks with Steve and you're tuning in live on this Saturday, February 3rd. And if you're here for the first time, welcome. If you happen not to be watching live and you're watching this later on, because it does record and people can watch this later, we just want to welcome you as well. And just encourage everybody, whether you're tuning in live or you're coming to watch later on, to participate in the chat right now. Maybe let us know that you're here with a hi in the chat. And if you're here for the first time, and I'm not seeing anybody yet that I recognize as being newcomers. We may have a few a little bit later on, but if you're here for the first time, make sure you say hi and let us know how you heard about us. Maybe where you're signing in from, somewhere in the country or around the world. I don't know. I don't know where y'all are. I know where a lot of you are. Shalane, good morning. Kim Baker, good meowing afternoon and happy Catterday. Absolutely. And Jerry Thompson, good day, mateys. Absolutely. Shalane's feeling better than yesterday. She was a little bit under the weather. Good morning, Rick Venturi. Yeah. Shalane, yeah, you figured out that reference was going through my mind as well. And if you don't know what Shalane was quoting there, it's from Mel Brooks' History of the World Part 1, which is kind of a classic from a number of years back, that it's typical Mel Brooks comedy. Hello, Carla. All right. He knows where most of us live. That's probably true. Yeah. So how's your week been going? I'd like to hear how everybody's doing. I know some of you are still dealing with wintry types of weather. Some of you are still dealing with getting over health issues or just dealing with health issues. So thanks for taking the time to be here if you're struggling with something, and let us know if there's anything we need to be doing for you. I can't deliver tea through I don't know. I've never tried delivering tea through Facebook and YouTube. It might work. But anyway, just let us know if we can be trying to cheer you up. Hopefully, the fact that you're here today means that you want to be cheered up, and we're going to be able to do that. I'll tell you the truth. I did not have a great night's sleep. I got to bed at a decent hour, but then I woke up a couple hours later and got up. And then when I went back to bed, I was just restless. I struggled to really get into a deep sleep the rest of the night, and I was up very early this morning. So if I doze off during the show today, you'll understand why. Carol is coming home. My wife, Carol, is coming home from Providence, Rhode Island today. She's been gone for a full month as part of her contract work back there, which she does. She's been going back and forth. She stays here at home in Spokane, working from here for a month at a time, and then she's in Rhode Island for a month at a time. I was there for 2 weeks, 2 full weeks in the middle of her time. That's what we've been trying to do so that we don't completely miss each other. And then on the weeks when we're not in the same place, we video call every day so that we can keep the connections going. It's still tough. Even though I came home just over a week ago, but it doesn't take long for me to miss her, and just can't wait for her to get home. So a little bit later on, after the show here, early afternoon, I'll be heading over to the airport to pick her up. Hey, Jay Zetterval, good to see you. Kathy Garlick, good to see you as well. Am I missing anybody else here? I have not said hi to. I haven't said hi to you yet. If I have not acknowledged you in the chat, make sure that you say hello. Even if you already have, and I just missed you there, make sure that you say hello. So I want to talk a little bit about some things that are in our sweet and savory this week. And the first one was that yesterday, as most of you probably know, Groundhog Day. Punxsutawney Phil. Now there are groundhogs all over the country, and to the best of my knowledge, Groundhog Day is, if not exclusively, almost exclusively, maybe a few places like in Canada, but I don't think anywhere else in the world they celebrate Groundhog Day, at least not like we do. And you can go online and you can find sites in probably most states where there is some kind of a ceremony with a groundhog or some other kind of marmot, or in some cases they'll use a weasel or whatever they have available, but they go through the process of seeing if a rodent can predict when spring is going to come. And it seems to me like the last few years, pretty consistently, Punxsutawney Phil, who's the most famous, I think the original big ceremony started in Punxsutawney, but Punxsutawney Phil has seen his shadow the last several years, and which sends him back, supposedly back into his burrow, and then that means he's going back into hibernation and 6 more weeks of winter. Yesterday, he did not see his shadow, which is supposed to portend an early spring. By the way, in Punxsutawney, he doesn't go down into a burrow. They have an artificial stump in the middle of the square, and he doesn't live there year round. He lives in he has a sanctuary, an enclosed area, someplace, I don't know where in Punxsutawney, that he lives. And then just early that morning, they stick him inside the stump, take him out, do their thing, stick him back in the stump, and then they take him home. But anyway, supposedly he predicted an early spring. So we'll see if that actually happens. Phil has not always been spot on with his predictions, but you know what? I'm going to take the encouragement of the potential of an early spring. He's an actor. I think you're right, Dee Dee. And by the way, hello, Dee Dee. Good to see you here. What else? A couple of people, and probably more than this, but a couple of people I wanted to mention who we lost this last week, who were somewhat icons in their own way. Chita Rivera, one of the true icons of the Broadway stage, also did movies, possibly most famous for originating the role of Anita on Broadway in West Side Story in 1957 when that show opened, and just has continued to be a presence on stage, on screen. Passed away this last week at the age of 91. And she also originated roles in Chicago, Bye Bye Birdie, and all that jazz. She was nominated for a total of 10 Tony Awards and won 2 of them. But just an amazing lady and a true class act. So we say R.I.P. and blessings to Rita and blessings to her family and to those around her. And then also actor Carl Weathers passed away at the age of 76. Carl Weathers had started his career as an NFL football player, played for the Oakland Raiders, and then later on in the Canadian Football League, but left sports to pursue acting and got his first big break playing opposite Sylvester Stallone as Apollo Creed in all of the original Rocky movies, as well as being in the movie. He was in a number of movies, Predator, a variety of other movies and television roles. Most recently, one of his most recent was that he was in The Mandalorian. And so Carl Weathers passed away at the age of 76. And so we also say, rest in peace, Carl. You and all of those around you, just, again, I say blessings. I don't know why I'm saying blessings, but I mean, I know there are people who are, we just noticed when the celebrities die, there are people who are truly mourning the fact that they are gone. So I only had one birthday on the list this week, and that is our friend who was on here. we're here. So we want to say happy birthday to you. And anything that you want to say about how you're going to be celebrating your birthday, Jay? You got you, and I see Jerry's here as well. Hi, Jerry. But any birthday celebration plans? Let us know in the chat, and maybe Jerry's making the plans, and maybe there's some surprises, and so she can't tell us. But we wanted to make sure we pulled. Hey, and maybe you have a birthday this week, and we didn't mention it, or you have some other special day coming up. And I didn't have it in the chat because I frankly didn't know about it, or maybe I should have and I missed it. But make sure that you, that picture, Jay, that was, you have it posted on publicly on your social media. So you look like happy and celebratory in that picture. I guess what I should start doing is reaching out to people who are going to be celebrating the birthdays and ask them to provide a picture that they want. But this is more fun. Anyway, happy birthday to Jay. If you do have a special day coming up, if it's this week, put it in the chat. If it's coming up anytime in the month of February or even beyond, you can email at cbwsteve@comcast.net. We'll make sure that we get that information down in our calendar so that we can include that when the time comes. All right. Hey, listen, I want to tell you about our guest today. I mentioned right at the outset that we're going to be talking about comedy. And my guest is a gentleman by the name of Isaac Knox. He's a comedian, improviser, and battle rapper. Think about that combo for a minute, because we're going to be talking about it. From Orlando, Florida, who's appeared on America's Got Talent, NBA halftime shows, and he shares a Guinness World Record in freestyle rap. When not touring with his company, Freedaps, he now lives in New York as an active stand-up comedian and writer. So let me give you the opportunity. By the way, this is, as is often the case recently, a conversation that was recorded in advance, but you can put your comments and your questions for Isaac in the chat. And if he's not able to join us live, then he'll be able to come on here later and respond to those and interact with you. So here's our conversation with Isaac Knox. Well, Isaac, thank you for being here. Welcome to Coffee Breaks with Steve. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling strong. I'm ready to go.
So we're going to talk about exactly what it is that you do, because I don't know if it's unique, but it certainly is, from my perspective, not the normal career description. You know, tell people, what do you do for a living? So you refer to yourself and what you do as a combination of rhyme science, battle rap, stand-up comedy, and sketch comedy, and freestyle. Can you talk a little bit about what those terms mean and how they fit together?
Yeah. I don't know if that's one job or 5 or 0 in most cases, but so what I do for the most part is freestyle rap, which is completely improvised on the spot. What I do is I have an audience or a subject or whatever is given to me in the moment, and I create songs and jokes and rhymes, and I do it with a group called Freedaps, which I help create, and we'll go back and forth and battle with people's favorite topics or with items in the audience, or fight for a lady's love, or we might create an anthem about a school or a company, or we have various forms that we can do it in, but it's exciting, it's interactive, it's high adrenaline, and then accompanying that is some more I don't know if conventional is the right word with comedy, but some more pre-established forms of comedy in the world, which is, stand-up and sketch and things like that, that I'm equally passionate about, and I'm actively doing lots of these days. But freestyle rap has been my career.
So what came first for you, Isaac, in the genesis and the growth of this, rap or comedy? And how old were you when you really started getting into this?
Yeah, I mean, I think at a like vocational level and a pursuit and a real hobby, it was rap. Like I was a silly kid, but then around middle school, it's funny, in middle school, which is part of when I was really falling in love with writing raps, and that was a big outlet for me. And my first love was basketball. And so like hip hop was sort of the soundtrack of the sport. So I was just always, that was how I gravitated musically. Like my sister was a good singer. I wasn't, so like I had to rap, you know. She could play piano, I couldn't, so I had to rap. And so, but in middle school too, I also, as a lot of kids are figuring themselves out, was really shy about being silly, was really shy about not wanting to come across as uncool, which is how to come across as uncool, which is to sort of like filter yourself. But but at the time I was like, all right, I just want to be a serious rapper. And then even as I started to find myself, like the performing part of me, the rap part of me, I always felt like I needed to protect it because I maybe felt like an insecurity about being a rapper. So I think I had to like take it very serious. And what I started discovering is, as I got older, as I was around more performing, as a fan, I was going to improv comedy clubs all the time. I was a super fan of comedians, but I felt like I couldn't be one if I was a rapper. And once I started letting that in, once I saw other MCs that I would tour with and even other battle rappers that would sort of let their guard down and be their full selves, which included like a silliness, I started letting that in myself as well, and really discovered that that's who I was the whole time. And it was this eureka moment. I mean, even like my name Isaac means laughter. Why would I be keeping that from what I do? And so um so yeah, it was rap first in terms of taking it to a level of passion and pursuit. But once the comedy came in, it was like, oh, I found me, and then all
Found
these
the
doors
niche.
opened up. Yeah, and then the circles where I was thinking that I had to be protective and I was shy about being judged as a rapper, those circles, I felt that it wasn't that I got looked down upon for being silly. It was this like, oh, now they see that I'm being my authentic self, and there was like a risen level of respect because I was also doing raps well. I took care to make sure like I do this craft well, but I don't need to do the craft falsely serious, you know?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. So it's great to have something like that. I mean, you hear something like that, and a lot of people say, great hobby. What was the point at which did you have a different career path in mind growing up? And at what point did you determine that this was going to be your focus of a career focus for you?
Yeah. Uh, it's funny. A few years back, I finally got my parents, who are so supportive. I hit the jackpot on parents, honestly. But I finally got them to admit that they thought the rap thing was going to just be a hobby, in high school. But because they were like so supportive, they were seeing all my first shows, which would be like youth groups and talent shows and stuff like that. But they
Right.
could see a progression and a response, and that there was a spark there. So then by the time I pursued it, they were like, oh, I get it. But for me, um, it's funny. I would like to say, oh, I was just doing it as a hobby and never thought that I could make a career out of it. I've always had that healthy delusion that I could make something my life if I really wanted to, and so I remember it in the 10th grade. So I'd played volleyball all through middle school and then freshman year, and I was the setter, which is an important position on the volleyball team, for the men's volleyball team. And I remember in 10th grade, I got braces and I'm chubby and rosacea, and my voice is even higher than it is now. And I walked into Coach Reed's classroom and I said, hey, I have to quit playing volleyball. I need more time to work on my rap career.
And what was Coach's response to that?
He looked a little bewildered and laughed and sort of laughed me off and said, okay. And Although, it worked out for both sides because my senior year of high school, I was attending college to study music production and sound recording. Meanwhile, my high school volleyball team, that I did not play for anymore, won the state championship. So it worked out for both. I was off into my music career and learning how to do my mixing and recording and build connections and diving in, all in at like as a 17, 18-year-old, and they were winning the championship. I was holding them back, actually. They needed me to leave to really reach their potential.
So it's one thing to try to describe what it is that you do. It's another thing to be able to see it. So we've got some segments here that will give people an idea of what exactly it is that Isaac does. So take a look.
And then he talked about the Old Testament. I guess we'll rearrange the table, because when I make you handicapped, you'll really be Cain-enabled. Now, in fairness, bear in mind, he ain't shared the grind that I have been through. I got paired with swine. I guess cherry wine is on the menu. I can spare my time and prepare my rhymes right at the venue, walking Carolines without a Caroline's enough to end you. Oh, I like the energy in here. I like how spacious the stage is, too. There is plenty of room for my ears. If you didn't notice how much my ears stick out, thank you. All of this height and grooming is to distract from the fact that my face looks like it's driving with the doors open. I'm trying to mix Easter lore with holidays, and I'm still trying to figure out all the ways that can work together while making it a shoe store. This is a complicated cocktail. I'll do more. Yes. So if we gotta get the right size, then maybe that will be my surprise. All right, yeah, and you can talk to us. One shoe per foot, that's Happy Hanukkah to an octopus.
Okay, that's very interesting because we're getting just a little flavor of it, but you talked about things like rap battles. And you talked about doing the freestyle. Is all of that, there's an element of all of that that's got to be improv, because we think about shows that a lot of people have watched, like Whose Line Is It Anyway, where you're just kind of given a topic, or you're put in a situation where you're having to work off of, or kind of in opposition of someone else who's either on the stage or who's as an audience giving you topics. How do you prepare for that? Is there a process of do you sit down and think about words that rhyme? Do you write things down that you might be able to use? I don't want you to give away trade secrets that are going to spoil it, but there has to be a preparation. There has to be a process, like you said, honing your craft. How do you do that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, first of all, I'm even happy to give away the trade secrets because sadly enough, like real improvised freestyle rap battle tournaments have kind of gone the way of the dinosaur. Modern battle rap are these prepared a cappella battles where people will write for months and write these 3-4 minute verses, and then they'll have 3 of them and then have to deliver it perfectly. And that's a whole sport in itself. And I play that sport, and I'm one of the people that does written rap battles with the ability to freestyle, which is something I try to use to my advantage. But going back to what you're saying, how do you prepare and how do you practice? I mean, it's really like, like any sport, you don't know what the opponent's going to give you. You don't know if they're going to be on a hot streak. You don't know if it's football, if it's going to be a run game versus a pass game. You don't know like what their approach is going to be, but you can work your muscles and your skill set as best as possible. So there's something called ciphers, and that's where rappers get together and just freestyle. A lot of times, like a theme pops up and everybody's going off of it and one-upping, or they're roasting a topic or something. Or it's just whatever flows out of their mind with no suggestion. So there's things like that happen. There's improv exercises for rhyming that you can do. But what's fun is what happens at these real freestyle battle tournaments, like what most people think of for movies like 8 Mile and stuff, where like
Yes.
it's just very tournament style. And so I've been in, countless of those, and it's fun when you walk into the room because the people competing can sort of like, they have an eye for who they think is in the tournament. Like he looks like and it's not even just that it's because somebody appears to be a rapper. That's oftentimes not the case because they come in all shapes and sizes and all that. But you can see the other guys or girls whose eyes are shifting around, scanning for opponents. And not only scanning for opponents, they're scanning for like, what's something interesting about this room. So if I have a punchline in the back of my mind about the room, or they're looking, okay, he looks like he's in it. Oh, he's got a long beard. I'm going to do something. I'm going to call him Gandalf or something. I'm going to, okay, his shoes are brown. I want something for brown shoes. They're scanning. They don't know who they're going to, which is a really fun and funny and like socially detached sort of experience, where you're really not present at all, but you're like hyper focused on people are trying to say hey to you, and you're trying to network and be like, oh yeah, what's up? Yeah, it's gonna be a cool tournament or whatever. Like, all right, cool. When are we going on? But like in your head, you're just thinking like, that guy's wearing his coat's got fur on it. I need jokes for coats with fur, and that sort of thing. So that's an element that happens. But overall, in terms of just building those muscles, a lot of it is you got to get comfortable failing. That's with anything, right? But with improv especially, because when I teach freestyle rap classes, I really need to like encourage people to push through the instinct to stop when they're stuck, because like that then just becomes like the wall for them and their growth. But like a lot of it is being okay. I have no fear of not finding a rhyme, because I know that failing to find a rhyme is not the worst thing that can happen to you. And I know that the less you fear failure, the easier it is for the rhyme to come in at the last moment or to find the right thing. Like there is this freedom of like, I know that I'm not going to die if I hit the ground, so I can like leap off the building and trust myself to fly this time. And so because of that, and because of not fearing failure, because of working exercises when it comes to taking new subjects, and the way that I search for rhymes and all that, because of all those things, like I haven't had a moment of not finding a rhyme or something to say in God knows how long. And that's not a brag, that's a testament to like, if you work at it and you're like, I trust it'll happen.
Who are your inspirations and influences both in stand-up comedy and in rap?
Guys like Neil Brennan with 3 mics, or his special blocks, where there is this beautifully crafted, artful element under it, or a Bo Burnham. And as much as that feels just like crazy neurons firing, there also is this like beautiful direction and meticulous craft to it as well, or a Mike Birbiglia, or Gerard Carmichael. Like I love the stand-ups who are not only like brilliant and sharp, and they do observation and analogy and storytelling, but like they also have ambition in the way that they craft it and present it. Not just here's my hour, but really going, here's my special, and I take that word seriously. Like those are my favorites.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got anything else with that?
No, I mean, and then my favorite rappers are just a lot of the wordsmiths. I love J. Cole, Tupac, Royce da 5'9", Lupe Fiasco, Black Thought, Eminem. Guys. Again, I'm such a craft nerd about everything. So same way that I feel about the way someone might build a comedy special is also how I would I view somebody building just a rap song and I go like, wow, the way that you made all these things work. And it doesn't just rhyme well, but it makes sense at surface level and there's wordplay underneath it. This is getting a little too nerdy, but there's a lot of like popular rappers that, and I don't mean to throw shade because I like this too, but a lot of their quote unquote punchlines, it'll be, I I don't want to throw anyone under the bus, so I'm not going to give an example. But their punchline will be the kind of thing where you go, huh, I don't get it. And then you go, oh, I get the wordplay. And that's cool. I like that. But if somebody does a punchline where the reason people get it is because it didn't make sense on the surface, so you have to like get the wordplay, and that's cool and fine and gets you a pop and a reaction. But to me, I like the guys like a Lupe Fiasco or Royce da 5'9" that I mentioned. Like those guys, you sometimes won't even catch the wordplay because it already made sense on the surface, and that's more impressive to me. Not that your brain had to stop and go, I need to get it, but the fact that it already made sense if you don't get a wordplay, and then you can still catch the ones that are happening underneath it. Anyway, that's the kind of like way I listen to rap sometimes, which makes it sometimes not fun to listen to rap.
All right, I've got a couple of what I call flashcard questions for you. In other words, they're kind of
Bring it on.
Just your initial response to these things, or you maybe something that's more deep seated, more deep rooted. First of all, is there a comedy venue that you would like to perform in? That's sort of on your dream list.
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, look, every comedian wants to do the Comedy Cellar in New York and the Comedy Store in LA.
Yeah.
And I want to do those so bad. I have done a roast battle in one of at the Comedy Store in LA, but it was, and again, amazing. Loved that I did it, but like I want to do the main room, do stand up. That's the dream. I'm trying to think. I mean, it would be, if we're talking like Genie in a Bottle, I think that doing Red Rocks in Colorado, I think that would be pretty phenomenal. Yeah, those are the ones that come to mind. My dreams wouldn't necessarily be Madison Square Garden and like huge arenas. I think that it's even hard to effectively do meticulous art at such a scale. So I don't know if I'd even want to do like arenas and stadiums and stuff. But I will say, and of course, I'm in New York. I'm pursuing comedy. I'm writing packets to be submitted. So you never know. But like the background on my phone is the SNL stage. So I have no idea if that's it's everybody's dream, and it's harder to be a part of that show than it is to be a professional athlete. So we'll see, but that is a like bucket list. I want to stand on that stage at some point.
That's great.
Yeah.
Is there a rap artist that you dream of going up against in a rap battle, and why?
A rap artist that I would want to battle. I don't think that I carry any ill will, so not in that sense, but I do love the idea. Like, it seems silly and people take it too serious, but like, I love the idea of diss tracks as a sport. And I've never been at the level, like, I've seen local rappers, back from where I'm from in Florida or wherever, that they have issues with each other and they make songs where they're taking shots at each other. And I honestly, I think that's very silly at that level. I think that you have to be of the status of these like bigger artists for that to make any sense. But how fun and what a compliment would that be? So no, I don't have a particular rapper in mind, but I would love, if I made it in more of the traditional rap lane, if there was somebody that took an issue with that was like an artist of similar or bigger level that took shots at me in a song, it would make me so happy, because I'd be like, all right, I finally get to live out this dream of like creating diss tracks. Like, it would be the best week of my life. I'd record 4 of them. Like, yeah, but no particular artists. Come at me, Jay-Z. No.
When things are going well, how many performances of one type or another are you typically doing in a given time period?
Yeah. It's funny, as busy as things look now, and they still often can be. I mean, I'm probably doing anywhere from 10 to 18 shows a month when it's consistent, mostly colleges, but also corporate, private events. And then you throw in stand-up shows around the city. But and that's great. I'm very, very grateful for it. As busy as that often is, pre-COVID was even wilder with my company. So my company used to do over 100 colleges a year. Meanwhile, we had a residency in Orlando at Disney Springs, formerly Downtown Disney. And so we'd perform out there 4 shows a night, 5 nights a week. So that was 20 shows a week that I was doing if I wasn't doing the college touring. And so yeah, I mean I'm very happy that my schedule now, and I love the travel, especially because I get to see so much of the country, and I feel like I get just a phenomenal education out of that too. But yeah, so it's about currently like 10 to 18 shows a month, I'd say. But that honestly feels like easy compared to 2018, 2019, when it was anywhere from 20 to 25 shows a week. So
So if people want to track you live to not only see some of the stuff that you have recorded online, but maybe be able to also see when you're posting your schedule where they may find you in their area in person, just go ahead and call out for us where online, social media, et cetera, people can find you.
Yes. So the the website is in process, but the best one right now is Instagram. So it's at I'm Isaac Knox. So that's just the letters IM and then ISAACKNOX. And I'm going to be creating a mailing list soon. I have a small one so far. That way you can really get updates. That'll be monthly. I do previews of things on my Patreon if anyone wants to check that. But I would say that Instagram is the best spot.
And you've got stuff on YouTube as well.
I do have stuff on YouTube. So yeah, so one of the big missions right now is to get a lot of the content and the regularity that I have on Instagram and TikTok is bring that to YouTube, bring that to Facebook. Also just continue to get all those gears rolling. But we're in process right now. So I'd say Instagram for now, but there's going to be even more ways to stay in touch soon.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Isaac Knox, thank you so much for being here. You are a creative whirlwind, and I love knowing you, and I love you taking the time to be here and share so much with us. We're going to continue to update on Isaac as he does get that website out there and get more information out there. But in the meantime, my friend, take care.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here.
Hey, thank you, Steve. I loved it. I love the show.
All right, we'll get it straight there. There we go. I hope you enjoyed that conversation with Isaac Knox. You can catch a glimpse of Isaac's energy just in that conversation. Imagine having the opportunity and the little bit, those little segments, brief segments that we were able to share with him doing rap battle, doing stand-up comedy, and doing some freestyle. I mentioned it in the chat, but the freestyle that you saw at the very end of that little segment was done at Birdland the night that Carol and I were there a couple of months ago, and that was actually my recording. And I've got the entire piece that he did, which was an improv. It's freestyle. So what he did was to ask the audience. We were approaching the Christmas holiday, so he said that he wanted a holiday, a reference other than Christmas, and somebody shouted out Easter, and then he said, I need a phrase, and somebody said, lick my boots. So Isaac on the spot put together a freestyle rap with live band accompaniment that was probably about 4 or 5 minutes long, based on called "Lick My Boots for Easter," which sounds sacrilegious. It really wasn't. He made it very lighthearted and funny, but he is really great. It's great to be able to have him on here. I put the link to Isaac's Instagram in the chat a couple of minutes ago, and I'll tell you, if you go to Facebook and put his name in a search, you're going to find, actually it comes up differently because his last name, Knox is his stage name, but you can find him. In fact, if you go to my page, I think, if you go to my personal Facebook page and you see the promo pictures that I've put up for this week's episode, and I tagged Isaac on those, you'll see what his real name is, and you can find him on Facebook. If you also go just to like a Google search and put in Isaac Knox, you're going to see a bunch of stuff come up. As he mentioned, he's working on his YouTube page. You can find his YouTube page, but if you just do a generic search, you're also going to find a lot of videos, YouTube videos, that come from other sources where he has appeared and he's being tagged in other people's YouTube recordings. So go out there and take a look at that. If you can also find his performance schedule. And he's posted, on Facebook, I know he posted his February performance schedule, and it's venues in New York, but he's also doing some traveling and appearing at colleges. So you might find something that's in your area and have the opportunity to connect with him in person. All right, listen, I want to share a couple of things that are going to be coming up actually, I'm not sharing a whole lot. I will tell you that I'm working right now a lot of channels. I've got several guests in the loop. We have not yet verified which one of them is going to be on next week, which needs to happen fairly soon because I need to connect with them and record that conversation. So next week, and actually in the coming weeks, don't have anything solid yet, but I will be keeping you posted. Keep looking at the site so that you can see that information when it comes up. I should be able to post something with the information for next Saturday's show very, very soon, within the next day or two, hopefully. And just a reminder that we have episodes of Coffee Breaks with Steve on a variety of podcast channels as well as on YouTube. And if you're not already a subscriber, if you're not already subscribing to the Coffee Breaks with Steve YouTube channel, would you please do that? Would you please go to the channel after we get done here today, if you're not already on YouTube, and click that subscribe button, but also look at some of the videos that are there. Click the like buttons on the videos. That helps the algorithm for YouTube, the more subscriptions, the more likes and views that we get on the videos there, the more it elevates that to the forefront when people are doing searches. And we have hashtags for our shows on there so that they will jump up when people are doing searches for certain things. And that way it gets guests like Isaac in front of more people. And that's what we really want to do. We want to get our topics, these interesting topics that we have on the show, and these amazing guests who are willing to take their time to come on. We want to get them in front of people. That's really the goal of the show, is to share the amazing things that people are doing with a larger audience. So please take the time to do that as well. All right, listen, I just want to say thank you again to all of you for being here, for being part of the conversation. Your participation is greatly appreciated. If you were on here live and you were in the chat, thank you. But as well, if you're tuning in later and you're watching this and you want to participate, make your own comments and ask your own questions, do that as well, whether it's on Facebook or YouTube, because that also is participation. And as I mentioned before, Isaac, when he has a chance to get in here, can see your comments and in the chat and questions, and he can respond to those. So thank you. All right, listen, I'm going to let you go. I need more coffee. It was a long night. I'm still waking up, and I got to get things ready for Carol to come home in a few hours. So we've got another great week ahead of us. And no matter where you are, no matter what it is that you do on a regular basis, we all have a voice. We all have the ability to take action in circumstances and situations and for causes that are important to us and important to others. So please find a way to make a difference in your world this week. God bless you. Have a great week. I'll see you next time.